Hi guys, it's Coach Fenz here from FTP Training. Welcome to another Friday Tips with Fenz. I'm actually sat out here on the balcony at Fenz on the top of the mountain. Haven't been out on the bike today. It's a little bit cold and there's actually been some fires local, so we've been sort of sitting in, working at the computer, writing frothing training plans and watching the Benelong Swiss Wellness team dominate down at the Tour of the Great South Coast. Come on. Right, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about something which is important for every level of athlete, okay? It doesn't matter whether literally it's your first week being on a bike or whether you're racing in a grand tour over in Europe. And it's something which I use and I talk about with so many of my athletes. And it's an analogy I use that you can use through your training and your racing. Or just your events, you know, going out to do a Gran Fondo, for instance. And I call it the suitcase of courage. So what is the suitcase of courage? The suitcase of courage is this suitcase that in your off season or in the time where you've not been training hard or you've not been riding or you've been away on holiday, the suitcase of courage gets filled up, okay? And once it's full, it's ready to go for the next year or for the next period of time until you have another break or another holiday. Now, when we do incredibly hard training sessions or we go incredibly deep in a race situation, or if we're out there training and we've run out of water and we've not eaten and we blow up, these are the sorts of times where to get through those events, get through those sessions, through those races, we look back, we delve into the suitcase of courage and we take a little piece from it. Okay, so what you can start to get an idea of now is that if you're continually doing rides, efforts, races where you're absolutely smashing yourself and you keep diving into that suitcase of courage, it can quite quickly become empty. And what happens when it does? There are several components to that. Firstly, from a competitive aspect, I think it's important that, you know, we've structured a season to be in peak form and condition for a 6, maybe 8 week period of the year. There might be 2 6-week blocks. We've gone to 2 peaks in the season. Now, in that first initial block, what you want to do is you want to have as much of the suitcase of courage left by the time you get to that race block. And if you've used it all up in the period leading into that race situation, that's when you get to that race situation and there's that classic scenario that you get to the top of that climb. You know you're a bit of a sprinter, but it's a short climb. Everything you've done in training has worked towards getting over that climb because you know if you can get over with the climbers or the splimers as we call them, you're the best sprinter there and you're going to win that event. You know that. But you've delved into your suitcase of courage too much. You haven't listened to your coach. You've gone harder than you should have done, thinking that that's going to make it better. You're going to be stronger. Everything's going to be better. And they gap you just towards the top. You reach back, you're absolutely on the rivet. But because you've put so much in so many times before, you're just left wanting for that final effort. They're the sorts of things in a competitive aspect that can mean that you have to gauge those efforts through training. Listen to your coach when they tell you to back off. Listen when they tell you that obviously the form is coming on really good. Suddenly we're hitting PB numbers, but we're 6 weeks out from even the start of that peak period. Okay, that's a worry because we've peaked too early. What we're going to do about that? You're going to listen to the coach. You're not going to keep driving into the ground thinking you're going to continue to make more and more gains. Physiologically, that's not going to happen. If you're already quite fit, if you've made 5%, you're doing really, really well. Okay, so suddenly if you've put 5% on your FTP, on your threshold, or you've hit, you know, 100 more watts on your sprint, chances are you're not going to make another 200 by the time you get to your race, okay, if you're already fit. So listen to the coach. You might need to back off a little bit before you bring it back up again. And that means that you don't keep delving into that suitcase of courage. If you're a Gran Fondo rider, exactly the same thing is important to you. Gran Fondos are incredibly hard, especially some of the big long ones, 3 peaks, etc. They really test you. You may be a mountain bike rider and you're doing an ultra endurance event like a 24-hour. Again, they really test your strength, stamina and willpower. And if you've left it all out on the road in the lead up to that, then it means that you will be left wanting when you need it the most. So, Suitcase of Courage, it's not full all the time. Think about when you've already used it, and think about in those, say, race situations leading into your peak, where you're at a clubby, you don't really need to chase the guy to win that particular race. It's not important. The important one's down there, okay? You're out there training with your mates and you're going for Stravas and you're 10 weeks out from your Gran Fondo event. Is that really important if you use something out of your Suitcase of Courage that's not necessarily going to put you in good stead for your Gran Fondo event? Alright guys, Suitcase of Courage, something I use a lot with my athletes, sometimes trying to just get them to rein in that enthusiasm and froth that most of us have for getting out there and riding our bikes hard and fast. Try and use it, try and understand when it's happening, and be better when the race or events come around. Be the best you can be. Alright guys, I hope that's helped. And if you've got any questions about anything that we've talked about on any of the Friday Tips with Fenz or this one, you want some advice, you want to learn more about training or understand what we can do to help you at FTP Training, please give us a call or look on the website at www.ftptraining.com and shoot us a message. I'll send you a link, you can book in a call with me, we can have a good yarn about how we can help you. Alright guys, I'll catch you out in the road or trail. Bye bye.